A coffee morning in Sheffield with a bit of pampering. We can't identify the women who've come here today. They're being supported by staff and volunteers at a charity for mums who've been in abusive relationships.
When there's physical harm, it's really obvious where that's come from and that somebody's done that to you. But when there's emotional instability, nobody's looking at where that's come from. They're just looking at you and going, well, you're emotionally unstable.
They're talking about coercive control. It's a pattern of behaviour by men or women. It can involve bullying. It can include financial control. There's often humiliation and sometimes physical abuse.
We hear that really commonly, don't we? That even if there is violence, it's almost like, oh yeah, well there was violence, but that wasn't the worst part.
It's the internal scars that you live with. That's what they're dealing with. It's that drip 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 feed, isn't it? It's just continuous.
The charity focuses solely on mums, many of them facing custody battles and mental health struggles.
I remember a few times, more than a few times, getting in the car and trying to leave, but I'd just end up driving up and down with nowhere to go because I'd been isolated and didn't have anywhere to go. He was in control of all the money, even though I earned it.
Coercive and controlling behaviour became a criminal offence 4 years ago. In 2016, Yorkshire police forces made almost 300 arrests. Last year in this region, that number had more than tripled to over 900 arrests. But getting victims to come forward remains a challenge.
I think there is a factor of victims not necessarily recognising their suffering from this behaviour and these offences.
Police say any relationship can be affected, but many feel unable to ask for help.
Male victims of coercive control may find it more difficult to come forward to report what's happening to them. And equally, those victims that come from the LGBT plus community might find it more difficult to come forward because of the exposure of their relationship sometimes. And I really want to be able to reach out to all victims to be able to say, please be confident to come forward and report.
These women have come forward for help, but money is tight, and this charity faces an uphill struggle to keep offering counselling and support to those who need it. Emma Glasby, BBC Look North, Sheffield.